What's up? Alright, today we got a 2016 Honda Pilot. I'm going to be doing the rear brakes or the front brakes, I don't know. They said I need all four all around. I only have time today to do one or the other, so I'm going to take both these wheels off, see which one's lower. I already have the pads for both, and we'll get started. Alright, so we're at the rear brakes. Kind of funky angle, try to get the light in there, but so the mechanic told me that I need brakes all the way around. He's kind of right. You see in there, I got a little bit of pad left though. It wasn't as dire as he made it sound. You see in there, it is really low, but I still got some. He's like, oh, it's, you know, rust slip or whatever. There's really actually no rust slip or anything like that. So go to the front. He made it seem like the rears were worse, which didn't really make sense to me. But if you look at the front, those are actually much lower. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the front. I don't have hardware. Yeah, same thing here. Like, it's really not even. The rotors are in good condition. Well, not, but I already got. They're gonna get replaced either way. So let's see what we got here. It's a dual piston. So it's two pistons. You got two slide bolts, two mounting bracket bolts. You got this pain in the ass right here. And that's it. So I think I'm going to do the fronts. Since the fronts are lower than the rear, let's do the fronts. So I'm going to throw this tire back on. I love how I can't focus. Like, I don't get it. Anyway. So this is what I ordered. So I got EBC rotors and pads from Amazon. What's cool about these, what I like about these actually, I don't have any experience with EBC. I know I've seen them around, the green stuff. I've seen them around for years. These are actually the yellow stuff. Comes with stickers. I love stickers. Got some shims. Some hardware. And some lube. Alright. But these are the yellow stuff. But I'll get more into those when I do the rear. Today I'm doing the front. So just show you the difference in the packaging. This is how these came. Now these are still EBC, but they're not. I didn't get green stuff because apparently they wear out faster. So I got, these are, I don't even know what they're called because they're not labeled. But these are like the EBC cheap ones, whatever. But for the price of this and rotors, it would have been it was actually cheaper by the set. I think it was 170. The parts store, they wanted $70 each rotor, and then on top of that I probably would have got thermal quiets or something like that, which would have been another $80–90. So for overall, I think I'm getting quote-unquote performance brakes for cheaper than if I would have just went to the parts store. And this is the Amazon, and none of this stuff is actually rated on Amazon, so I guess I'm assuming that they just started selling. But this is, you know, ABC is a reputable company, so we'll see. Like I said, I never used it before, but we'll try it today. This didn't come with any hardware, anything. The car has, I think, 60,000 miles on it, so I think I'm just going to clean up the shims or the slides and everything like that and not even worry about it. Under the vehicle, this car does have running boards. So never, you can't jack up from here. This is your pinch plate right here. You have to jack it from here. So you have to have a jack that is adjustable to where as it hits here, you have to have the piece that goes up. Mine is see how mine screws, so I can adjust it up. And always use jack stands. So this is my safety disclaimer. If you don't have any experience jacking a car up and using jack stands, definitely don't work on small trucks. Start out with your little Civic, because these are a little different. These are heavier duty jacks, and I have a big enough floor jack to, you know, handle it. So that's my safety is always first. Don't get underneath the vehicle. I can move this thing is as solid as if all the wheels were on it. So it's not going. It doesn't look like it, but that's actually very solid. So you want to always wear eye protection. I'm going to put some gloves on because I'm sick of my hands looking like crap. Alright, let's get to the actual work. Alright, so I think this is the angle I'm going to have to work at. Alright, so this is the wheel straight. It's always easier to pull that into you. Alright, now first thing you're going to do is this stupid screw. Alright, so normally this is what you're going to use. It's an impact like screwdriver. Alright, it's pretty much made just for this. I don't know of any other time you use this tool. What I've been trying out lately, and I've had some success, is actually just using an impact. This is a Phillips head. This is impact definitely works with Torx. When you have Torx screws like Fords and things like that. I've never tried it with a Phillips. Let's see what happens. And that's why I do that. Alright, so if you have an impact, it came out really easy. Like, you know, this is going to be pretty much, you're not going to run into any problems with a brake job like this, especially at 60,000. Things haven't really had a time to seize and rust into place yet. So I'm not anticipating running into any pistons being seized or slide pins being seized or anything like that. Everything should be pretty straightforward, come right out. Alright, so luckily I don't have to use this thing. My bit is all beat up anyway. It doesn't even fit. Alright, and these aren't standard bits, they're way bigger. So I gotta get new tips for this, because if that didn't work, I probably wouldn't have been able to use this anyway. So, alright, on to the next. Alright, so now that we got this, we know we can get our rotor off. Put some trusty gloves on. So it's real straightforward. Other than that screw, you're going to need a 19 and a 17. Preferably 6-point, not 12-point. 12-point works, obviously, it doesn't matter, but these are pretty torqued down pretty good. Having 6-point ensures, and using metric. This is a Honda, don't use standard. And use 6-point, and you're not going to strip anything. I got like talking hands. I got a little... Alright, so we're just going to take out the slide, 2 slide pins, and then the bracket. Slide pins are 17. Like I said, everything should come out nice and nice, because it has not had any time to... Alright. Bam. Don't lose those. Alright. And then I'll be able to see my slide pin slides back nice. Alright. So just give it a little pull. Kind of loosens it up. Alright. And these have the springs on them. Alright, so as you can see, dual piston caliper. Alright. Those are the stupid tension springs that are really annoying. You have to definitely put those back on. I mean, even though other cars don't even have them, and those brakes work fine. Alright. It's weird that the outside pad, maybe it's because it's dual piston, outside pad is actually, usually your inside pad is worn down more. For some reason this one outside, but who knows, whatever. Alright, so let's take this bracket off. Let me start moving. Let's act like I'm in a hurry. Thought I was just about to talk about how great this ratchet is, S&K. And I was actually about to say you should probably use a bigger wrench, because I just broke my wrench. Just broke my ratchet. I've had this thing for probably 15 years. Yep. Definitely broke. Is S&K even around anymore? I don't know. I haven't seen an S&K guy. I want to trade it in. I need a new one, buddy. Whatever. Alright, let me go find a different ratchet. Alright. So I went to what is this? I don't even remember. I don't even do this stuff that often. I don't even know what size it is. Half inch? Yeah, half inch. I went to a half inch drive from 3/8. Something like that. Who knows? I broke that one loose. Crusty trusty Craftsman with the save. It's gonna get windy. I don't know how that sounds. I don't have like a big microphone or anything. Brackets off. Alright. Let's be a little more professional and hang this up, and I'm gonna wait till the wind stops. Had to go dig my hammer out the yard. I forgot that I used it to break a toilet the other day to throw it in the garbage can. Also, hang your calipers up. Don't ever just have them dangling from the, like here, you can just use anything. I used the little printer cord that I had laying around, because I'm like a weird scrapper. Nah, not really. Alright, so everything is good. Your screws out. Take your hammer. Nice one good swoop, and you're good to go. Alright, so now we're replacing the rotors. So these are going to be good for the scrapyard. You used to be able to get like $6 a rotor at one time. It's probably half that. I could probably get $3 for this. But anyway, you could probably get away with a pad slap, but not really. There is a lip on the back here. Where am I at? Here I am. Alright, so there's other videos showing how you could. Alright, so take this off. Always match up your parts. The pads are not 100%. They are a little different. But as you can see, my rotor is a little bigger, which is kind of annoying. And all this matches up. And even the hat of the rotor looks different. It doesn't have, it's just straight. This has the bezel. So it's not 100%. So what I'm gonna have to do is cross my fingers. I'm gonna mount this on right now, put the bracket, and see if the caliper actually clears. If it does, then we'll have no issues. If not, then I'm wasting a bunch of time. Alright, so we're back where we were. We're a week later. Those parts obviously didn't fit. I don't even know what I was thinking. So we're on the other side because the car just happens to be facing the other direction. Everything, we're back to where we started. I just gotta take the rotor off. Everything came off just as easy as before, even the little screw. So I'm still working. I'm still using the impact. All right, so I sent those other parts back. It wasn't EBC's fault. It's definitely the vendor's fault. They're just selling stuff under the wrong, you know, whatever. But so with Wagner, I usually always go with Wagner. I'm with full hardware and everything, which is good. So you'll see an actual proper brake job rather than just me cleaning up everything and I end up going with these Bosch. Same thing with, got it from Amazon. It was about $10 more than the EBC kit. All right, so let's clean up the caliper. Show you how we grease it down. We'll get the new rotors on, and I'm gonna try to do it in one shot. After I get the caliper, I'm gonna take the rotor off, put the new rotor on, put all the brakes on, all in one shot, hopefully. All right. So here you got your bracket, caliper bracket. All right. So now this is your most common problem. If you're seized up, a lot of times if it's not your caliper that's seized, it's going to be these right here. Okay. If these get stuck, your caliper will start riding and start. You'll have uneven wear. If you have one side that's wearing, my glove self-destructed. If you have one side that's wearing more than the other, it's either the slide pins or it's going to be your caliper altogether. I'll show you real quick. So these leave the boot on. Alright. So this one's a little rough, but it's probably because it's got the rubber on it. But it's actually kind of dry. So it's good that we're doing it. Alright, so you see how it's like burnt up? Alright, so we want to get all that off there. And there's a little rubber, the rubber piece. Put them in the same spot because I believe this side's not going to have one. So you clean all the old grease off as best you can. I'm just using this stuff from the parts store. There's all types of different grease or whatever. I like, you know, what is this? High performance brake lubricant. New formula for ceramic pads. So that's what I'm using. But whatever. Alright. I'll just spread that on there nice. Alright. Pop it back in. Make sure it's nice. Alright. Let's do the other side. See how this side does not have the rubber? I'm still trying to figure out this camera. It's on autofocus, but it just won't focus. So, whatever. So I'll keep everything here. Same thing, clean it off. See, this one's nice and you don't need like a whole bunch. This is where it's good to have some gloves on. Alright, nice and nice. Alright, and you always make sure your boot is all the way, there's a little groove. Make sure your boot is on there, so when you pull the slide pin out and it moves, your boot's moving with it. Alright, next thing you have is your hardware, which are these clips. Alright, so you just come out. These pop right out. I like to do them one at a time, just in case they're different. Which I see this side has knobs on the inside, this side doesn't. So we like to do them one at a time. Like the other brake kit I showed you didn't have the hardware, it didn't have any of this, and then it didn't have the like the spreader springs. So you'd have to reuse all this. And if you were doing that, and it's not, you know, it's not recommended, but you would just clean it off, lube it up, and reuse it. But the stuff's so cheap, and a lot of the pads come with it, that you would just replace it. You don't have to worry about it. You could put lube right here. I've never done that. I've always just hit it with a wire brush, clean it real good. A little nice, right? The other thing I usually do actually before I even start greasing it, which, whatever, I'll just spray it down. And I do everything over a box, so it's not getting in your driveway like that. So just clean it up, wipe it down. Good as new right there. All right, I'm gonna match up the pins. It's not that one. That's one. All right, just like that. And pop the new one in. All right. Bam. Perfecto. And also, I mean, the reason why you also want to, they get worn out. So like there's a little bit of tension on here. That's why I don't really see the purpose of putting grease in here, because they don't really sit directly on there like that. Well, maybe they, I don't know. Once the pads are in there, it'll push everything in. All right, so let's do the other side. Flip it around. And this is the hazardous stuff, all right? So you don't want to breathe in that dust. You don't want to spray that spray in your eyes. So if you're allergic to anything or you just don't like dust, I would definitely be wearing a respirator or something like that. All right? This is the hazard part. This is the chemicals and dust. So I got the other one, I matched it up. It's got the little tabs on the inside. Same thing. It looks like this one's a little bent, but it's in there, good to go. All right, so that's how you clean it up. I'm gonna put it back on the car with the rotor, and then we'll go from there. Screws in. Let's put the bracket back in. Trying doubling up my old gloves, but they all just ripping apart. Alright, so now one of the reasons why I don't lube all that up before I put it on, because it always gets on the rotor, and I just hate that. I'm like one of those people that I just don't like the feeling of lotion or anything, so like grease on everything is just really annoying to me. So the cleanest way I found But I've always done it. Alright. So match up like we did before. So we know that this was on the caliper side. You got your squeal pin. So we know that this is the right side and that's the right. Oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna match them up because I don't trust Amazon anymore. And these are an exact. Everything's perfect. Nice. The vendor actually knows what parts they're selling. Right, and I love Wagner. I personally have Wagner thermoquiets. Very low dust. They're 100% ceramic. You don't have all like little stupid brass in there and everything. Alright, so this is how I've always done it. All I do is lube up right here and right here on the pad. Alright. Everywhere it's going to touch, just dab it on there like that. Dab on them. Alright, not too much. Alright, so we know this is the front pad. Like I said, I hate just having grease on everything, so I'm just going to wipe it off with my finger. Alright. And yeah, so front pad's in, same thing. If you get any grease on this part or the rotor, clean it off with the brake clean. Grease and pad do not mix. Tell you what, your brakes won't squeal, but the car probably won't stop either. Alright. Same thing. Bingo. Alright. Now what I'm gonna do, because hardware, nice springs, and they have a ton of tension on them, so they're gonna be extra annoying. All right, so what I'm gonna do is get the caliper on halfway, get the springs on, and then slide it on. All right. First, what I need to do is actually spread that caliper out. Because it's dual caliper, you use something like this. I have two types. I have one for regular calipers and one for dual. They're relatively cheap. I think this one's more than the other one, but I mean 50 bucks. If you're doing brakes all the time, it's definitely a huge time saver. Anyone in the business knows what that is and has one from the tool guy that you owe a bunch of money to. Not me, motherfuckers. Alright, so with this, you just take your old pad, slap it in there. Alright. Even pressure, actually. I'll tell you why this is safer. Calipers are not designed to have any pressure over here. Anyway, you have your hose hookups right here, so how are you going to put a C-clamp on there? On this side, you're not doing it evenly. So this is safer because this part of the caliper is designed to have pressure. This is not. So if you say that the pistons are C's and you're clamping down on this, this will bust. It's cast. So it does not flex, it just breaks. Some would argue, I guess it is the same material as this, but it's just not designed for that. So we're going to use the actual design of the caliper to safely put in both calipers evenly. Alright. Alright, so same thing. We're going to clean up. Try not to do it over everything. You don't want rust falling in between everything. So I'm just going to spray it down over here. There's a lot of crap in there. We're going to use, so when you do brakes, buy 2 of these because you will pretty much use the whole thing. Hopefully I'm still recording. Thank you. You won't know how many times I've done that. Actually, I'm probably going to be posting another brake job. It's from my 06 Ford Fusion that I had a while back. I just never posted the video. If you see, I have a lot of gaps. I've just had different computers now. Software that's not as user friendly. I'm still trying to figure it out. Alright, so we're just going to put some right there. All contact points. I'm going to put some right here. I've seen people just smear this all over the back of it. There's no reason. I mean, you got your only pistons are the only thing touching. Loop that up nice and nice. Alright. So, what I'm going to do is get one top piece in here. Alright. Put this up there like that. Bingo. Again, when you're doing it this way, now you don't have grease smeared just everywhere. Alright, keep your hands clean because when you're touching stuff, you're going to get grease on everything. You don't want to do that. Alright, if you have to change your gloves, change your gloves. As you see, they don't. What am I doing? Alright, spread, yeah. I want to thank that other guy. I watched the video on this. I don't want to reveal any secrets, but I was just curious to see how many videos on this there were, and I noticed that there weren't that many, so I decided to do it. These fit in there pretty good, so they're not spreading it too crazy. Actually, it's because I bent it. Cheating, bent them in. Alright, so we're going to do that. Alright, so now the reason why you want to get this here, because now you're finagling and you have to hold these tight to get the caliper on. So when you're doing it this way, you're only gonna get the top on. The pop, fucking back's gonna pop out. This is the biggest pain in the ass. Either way. Alright, so we're just gonna drop this down. But yeah, I want to thank that guy that did that video. I used to be a mechanic all the time, and I don't know, maybe I just forgot. But this is definitely the way you do it. Bam. Pins are in. Yep. Nothing popped out. lost my other bolt. Alright, so while I get this other piece on, because we're relatively done. Alright, so at this point you'd move to the other side. Alright, let's talk about putting your tire back on. Alright. I always put the tire back on before I I cannot find anything right now. I always put the tire on before I seat the pad. So you want to seat the pad before you do anything. Move on to the next part. Alright, as I was saying before my camera, it's funny how I mentioned that my camera always goes off. So you're gonna tighten everything down. Everything's nice and slides everywhere. We don't have grease everywhere. Alright, so these are ceramic coated. I cleaned them off before. I don't think I needed to do that. Regular rotors come with a coating on there so they don't rust when they're in storage. If they have that, you'll notice like the plastic will be sticking to it. You got a bunch of yellow crap all over it. Make sure you clean all that off because that will smoke and burn and affect. You don't want anything on these pads. Alright, so the other thing I'm going to mention is I did put the screw in. If you don't put the screw in, definitely 100% put your wheel back on. Alright, so it's not your rim, it's not your tire, it's your wheel. So that's your rim and tire put together. So you put your wheel back on, torque everything down, put the car down before you seat your brakes, because that way your rotor's against the hub. Perfect. I put the screw in, even when I use the screw I know this is on, but it could be a little cockeyed or whatever. So I'm going to put the wheel on. Same thing, that's just a habit, good habit I have. I like to do. Alright, so, and then we're done. Just want to mention this is a jack stand incorporated into the jack, so I'm good with that. And then where else? So we're good. I don't think anything else in it. If you that's like kind of one of the reasons why you don't fill up your brake fluid when you're doing like oil changes and stuff. There's no reason to, because when you push those pistons back in, your brake fluid's going to go back up. And if you did fill it up when you go to do your brake job, you're going to have brake fluid dripping down the back of your firewall. So you don't want to do that. And that's that. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to comment. I do respond to my comments because I don't have that many subscribers. If you like my video, subscribe. I would also point out too, if you were resting your caliper or anything against your dust plate back here, make sure that this is not touching your rotor, because after you're all done, that will scrape and then you'll have to take the wheel back off. Alright, but hope this helps whoever. These are pad, 180 bucks for both, right? And this is top quality stuff. You can go cheaper. Probably save you about 300 bucks. I'm gonna do another video of the rear. Right now I just don't need the rear exactly. And look, hey, you know, while you're down here, just tighten up some screws too, you know? Inspect everything, make sure your bolt joints are not, you know, whatever. I'm ranting. I used to be really quiet, now I talk too much. But have a good day.